what up?
I need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut. Yeah.
Where you at, man? In the gym shooting, I'm Durant. You ain't shooting John Moran.
Darnell is the Ball State legend. I'm the Warren Central High School legend.
I'm proving with a reliable source, straight from the mouth of the horse. Smitty and JB and Smitty from West Coast to Yost.
I love talking ball. It's nice to connect with guys that are like-minded and just are real and genuine.
Better stay in your lane. Hop into
you are fucking insane. Dude, what? You just will not give this guy his flowers. What is wrong with you?
Oh, you must have thought I was a bitch.
I am him. Use not it. What's the topic? With your logic when I flow. Big Komodo, how it's talking.
You gotta get back to letting the baby cry a little bit to see if they can soothe themselves.
That's a bar.
Issues get pressed so past it, don't get sacked like bags and baggage. Smitty and Jason Brown killed it, yeah, it's a rap. We what the game's been missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
I identified him after his third fight and I said that guy can be a star.
I'm so proud of the show, bro.
With the gas, Smitty and Jason Brown.
To the Coach JB show.
What up? It is Doc Talk Tuesday, Talk That Talk Tuesday, and T-Rich, Trent Richardson Tuesday, Alabama legend, along with our legend, our own legend, Steve Kim, joins us, talk about Canelo fight over the past weekend, what's next for him and Berlanga, and all things Miami Hurricanes as they chirped Smitty's Ball State. We're going to dive into that as well, plus all things NFL and college football, plus our top of the world, bottom of the barrel list from yesterday's college and last night's NFL. We're going to dive into that with Steve Kim today. We're going to get all things injury updates with Dr. Jesse Morse to start the show once he pops in from PRP and injection and all the shit he does. And we're going to dive into that as well. So appreciate everybody joining us, man. It's a glorious morning to come on here and be able to talk to the real ones like you guys. So, even the haters. And I'm looking for new haters because my old ones are starting to like me. Let's dive into this show because it's going to be epic. It will be a shorter show than normal, just so you know. I got to take Callie to the doctor. They got to put her under and check her joints and give her some x-rays. So, we're going to end the show about an hour to 45 minutes early, so 45 minutes to an hour early. So just giving you guys a heads up right now. But we will get through all the guests. Doc Talk, Trent Richardson, and Steve Kim. So make sure you follow Steve Kim after the show. Right on over live. He goes on over to Whitlock and is Whitlock's co-host. So giving you that update. But we're back in the studio tomorrow and Thursday live with Coach Noel Mazzoni and Josh Booty, and we're going to be on the big board with some film, hopefully breaking some stuff down. So stay tuned for that as well. Let's dive into it, man. Bryce Young, you see it on the thumbnail. He was just benched in favor of veteran Andy Dalton. Will Dalton do better? Yes, of course he is. He is a better NFL quarterback, period. This is not a debate. It is a system that has enabled the youth into thinking they are better than they are because of the bag of money they receive. I like Bryce. I've seen Bryce grow up all the way from a youngster on up. Him, DJ, CJ, all these guys grew up right here, 15, 20 minutes from each other, all played each other in high school. But they have tricked the youth into thinking they're better than they are because of 7-on-7 and all these other things, plus the NIL and the money they're getting in college and now high school. I like Bryce. I thought he did what he could do on the worst team in the NFL. But I also said he was set up for failure before he could even begin. Like so many others that start as rookies in this league. It's the man's league. Why are we doing this to them, yet paying them so much money? Make it make sense. Owners will eventually have to stop doing it or they will go broke. Or create such a bad product that it is so unwatchable that it will fold, like I said it would yesterday. Bryce didn't ask for this team. He earned this team. I hope you heard what I just said. He didn't ask for the Carolina Panthers. He earned the Carolina Panthers. What do you mean, Coach JB? He was the Heisman winner. He was the best quarterback in football in college, in the SEC at Alabama, where he dominated NFL talented players. He earned this team, contrary to belief. But that comes a great responsibility, and that is to be humble, learn, and move on to either a new team or stay put, learn from Andy Dalton, the red-headed rifle, and become better for it. Listen, little chronological order for you real quick. Shout out to Shaun Waffle for sending me a few stat lines. In March of 23, Carolina traded a guy we call DJ Moore to Chicago for some first-round picks and a 24 pick and a second-round pick in 23 and 25. They selected Bryce Young out of Alabama. Since then, the Panthers are 2-17. And Young has been pretty awful. Like I said, he finished the season strong last year, but he finished 29th among starters in total QBR last year on the worst roster in football, pretty much. He completed just 55% of his passes so far this season while throwing 3 picks and no touchdowns. No touchdowns. Meanwhile, Moore has been a stud for the Bears, and they used the picks to land quarterback Caleb Williams, who also, I believe, is being set up for failure. And listen, this is why I harp on the quarterback position being so bad. But we also set the young ones up for failure. And it can also be tracked back to money. Everything's traced to money. Filling the seats with corporate sponsors to keep payroll afloat and to draw interest. This model, however, will come to a crashing halt very soon. Mark my words. Quarterback play cannot stay this bad and expect the overall product to be viewed, watched, and rated as high as it's been. Let's dive into this, man. The Falcons take out the Eagles on Monday Night Football last night. Last-minute drive. Kirk Cousins comes back and takes a big-time touchdown to Drake London on a deep outcut where Slay stopped his feet. Flat-footed. I have no idea. One of the worst man corner plays I've seen in the red zone. Stops his feet before the goal line. If you're going to do that, you better get a PI. We're going to dive into it. Cooper Kupp will be out for significant time I said it on the show last week. Don't overuse him without Nakua. Be careful if Cooper Kupp now gets overused. And sure enough, Matthew Stafford's going to be out there with a bunch of JV players. Going to be interesting. Billy Napier says he hasn't had discussions about his job, contrary to belief, and his status, and he sees a 100% path for a 4th season with Florida. Josh Booty and I call bullshit. We're going to talk about that today and tomorrow. And when asked about the Jags offense, Trevor Lawrence said, we're just not very good. We sucked against the Browns. And then Mike Norvell says he is pleased the way DJ is preparing, and he's giving him a chance as they sit at 0-3 in Seminole land. But before we begin, my self-esteemed co-host, Snaptown legend, Far East Sider in the 317, LeBron hairline having, Lamar Jackson loving, AR5 defending, Caitlin Clark jocking, Fox Sports, very own, Big Smitty. Welcome him in.
What's going on, JB? What's going on, Bailey in the background, man? It's Tuesday. I'm lit. I'm feeling crazy right now. Crazy meaning good.
Why you lit?
I'm just excited to be, bro. Like, I wake up every morning and I get to do this show.
I thought you were drinking.
No. You got to listen to the context of my words and what I'm saying. Black people, we use certain words that have multiple meanings depending on how we're using it. I'm lit right now because I wake up every single morning. I get to do this beautiful show with my great co-host, Jason Brown. It's the first thing I woke up. I prayed, brushed my teeth, used the bathroom and shower, and now I'm right here on the show.
Give us what you prayed about.
That's between me and my Lord. We got a lot of atheists in this chat anyway. I don't want to put y'all in the mix. You know, it's just a real thing.
Redo the prayer. I have a prayer to start the show off with, if we will.
Let's do it right now. Bow your head.
Everybody gather around.
Do not curse in the prayer, please.
I try not to curse in the prayer, Lord. Please forgive me, Lord, if I do curse, though, and because I do repent and I will repent. So please allow me to repent. Have grace and mercy for me, Lord, as I do cuss and find very, very hard not to cuss, Lord, because regular folks, Lord, in this world cuss, Lord. That's what we use. We use those words, Lord, that you've gifted us. Words like motherfucker, I believe, is a great American word. Used to be another word that started with an R, ended with a D, and a R in the middle of it. And there's a lot of words, Lord, that you, Lord, gifted us.
No, don't put that on my God. Lord God, let me jump in real quick and assist my co-host, Lord God. He's trying. He's giving an A for effort. Read his heart. Do not read his mouth right now because he's trying hard, but his words isn't really telling you what his heart truly feels. So he means, Lord God, that he is thankful for you waking us up this morning. He is thankful for you giving us this beautiful platform. He is thankful for the growth of this show. He is thankful for the opportunity to just go get it for another day. And he is thankful for your forgiveness each day, each hour, each minute, because he knows in his heart that he, along with all other humans in this world, don't deserve your mercy and your grace, but you give it to us anyway, Lord God. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and with you, all things are possible. That's what my co-host meant to say, Lord God. And we love you, and we thank you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Woo!
Lord, that wasn't what I meant to say at all whatsoever. Please allow Smitty to be forgotten and forgiven. But please, Lord, baby Jesus, I would like to talk to baby Jesus today, and I have to come out and repent and ask for forgiveness, Lord. Please, Lord, don't let this be true, please. But I asked you last week, Lord, and you absolutely just bit me over, Lord. I'm just going to be honest. I asked you for Daniel Jones to have a better performance, and you absolutely pissed on me from above, Lord. And listen, Daniel Jones, I'm one more week away from eating crow on this show, Lord. I ask you, please don't let me eat crow on this show, Lord, for Daniel Jones. Because you know I'm a real one, Lord, and I will have to do so. But God, baby Jesus, he is horrible. The Giants are horrific. Please don't let me eat crow on this show about Daniel Jones. This is the second time, Lord, I've asked you. I won't ask you a third time, Lord. In your name, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Your prayer, though, it had nothing to do with what I wanted to say. My
prayer was better, though. I think everybody could agree my prayer was a lot better, though.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it was better. It's a real prayer. My prayer is to baby Jesus. Let's go. Let's dive into quote of the day brought to you by betonline.ag. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and get you 50% off plus welcome bonus. We're getting close to Major League Baseball's World Series. It's October. Mr. October is coming. Who is it going to be? Aaron Judge, Ohtani. Ohtani may pitch in the playoffs. All you baseball heads, we're going to dive into that. Plus, NBA basketball will be here quicker than you know it. Halloween is coming around the corner, and NBA will be back. NBA will be back, Smitty.
Are you excited?
No. Quote of the day. Don't complain about not getting a chance and then be unprepared when you finally do.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Is that the best quote you ever said? Of all time? Is that number one all time? I'm asking you.
I just made it up.
When you make your quotes up, they're way better than when you prepare and go find it. They're way better when it comes from the heart.
I'm not Robert Saleh, homie. I don't read cards.
Damn, that's fire.
Don't complain about not getting a chance and then be unprepared when you finally do. There's so many of you that do that shit. I hate I didn't know. Dad, he didn't tell me he was giving me an interview. I didn't know. I'd have smacked shit out of him. Shut the fuck up. You shouldn't prepare yourself, motherfucker. Contrary to belief. Brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over there. Use promo code Coach JB. Before you can talk about being great, you have to practice greatness every day, contrary to belief. You can't talk about being great and you don't practice it. Sorry.
Practice doesn't make perfect, but practice helps prepare you to be better and be in position to succeed in that thing.
I never heard practice makes perfect. I never heard practice makes perfect. I didn't use that motto. I didn't allow our coaches to use practice.
It's not true. It's not true.
It's not true because perfect practice makes perfect.
Talk about it. You cooking right now. Look. I give you your props and your props is due. You cooking.
poll question, Smitty, to start this show off, since our thumbnail has Mr. Bryce Young, St. John Bosco High School, California legend, Alabama legend, balled out. Sark loved coaching the kid. I know his dad. He's been at 2 high schools out here in SoCal. Great kid. Did Carolina Panthers. And you guys in the chat chime in, and we'll take some calls later on in the show. Did the Carolina Panthers ruin Bryce Young already?
I hate to say this, JB, but I'm going to say yes. I think they've ruined his confidence. I think they've ruined his development. I don't think there's been development. And from what we've seen, it's only been 2 weeks. I get it. But, like, whether it's preseason, whether it's not, like, we haven't seen any growth. We haven't seen any step forward, whether that's just physically in terms of his size and stature, or maybe he's just not able to put on weight. I'm not sure. But then, obviously, the actual X's and O's and him getting the ball out quicker and just be able to read the defense quicker. And just, something about a quarterback, like a good quarterback, they look confident in the pocket. They look comfortable in the pocket, even when there is.
Hey, Smitty, I got to interrupt you. We got to get back to that. We got our early morning doc talk, Jesse Morse.
You get what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear what you have to say anyway. Let's dive into Dr. Jesse Morse. Doc, what up? It's Doc.
What's going on, Doc? How you doing?
I know you're over
Good
there
morning.
probably doing some PRP injections.
Doctor 8 cripped out, ain't he?
Yeah. We like to look clean, look like a mobster. So, Doc, where we at?
It was a busy weekend, Doc.
I saw you pushing a button on social media. Stop the injury button. I hate to keep saying this and harp on this. I don't know why. We've had this injury considered a climb. My kid, Jermaine Johnson, is out, Achilles tear. I talked to him. He's just an optimistic guy. He's like Smitty, man. He's like, I'll be back better than ever. I'm not worried. There's so many guys just falling like flies, though. I think we're already double in week 2 of last year. Why does it go up every single year? We've been talking about this for a year now, Doc. I don't know. Nobody's going to put a finger on it. We won't know the actual truth. We can assume turf, diet, preparation, no practice, no rigor, no callus. I don't know what it is, but where you at right now is what's going on so far.
I think it's easier to talk about who's healthy than who's injured at this point. And it's only been 2 weeks, like legit 2 weeks. Alluding to why we're getting a spike already, soft tissues, I expect that's pretty standard. But I think the lack of preparation in preseason and lack of preseason games, and they're trying to pull another one away, is a big deal. Yeah, a guy like Aaron Rodgers or something shouldn't be playing in the preseason, but in my opinion, the rest of the guys should. And I think with as much money as they're being paid, they're like, hey, I don't want to waste my bullets. But those are practice reps, and they have to be practiced in order to fire that tissue to get it ready to get them to be on the field when it's actually go time. And most of the guys play at 30 snaps, 50 snaps over the course of preseason if you're lucky. Most of the guys that play in preseason aren't even on the rosters anymore, right? They're not even NFL players. So it's like, what are we doing here? And then we saw a couple hip drop tackles again, Cooper Kupp and Joe Mixon. Those are the two that I happen to see blatantly obvious, or relatively blatantly obvious. And then, I think that whether or not they want to admit it, I think the turf does play a role. I think the travel plays a role. Think about flying 10 and a half hours to Brazil and then 2 days later flying basically back. You almost lose 2 whole days of rest, training, rehab, so on and so forth. It's tough, and that's before you even really get going. So it's just unfortunate. And speaking for Jermaine Johnson, I actually just made a post like 5 minutes ago, begging, advocating. If you are an NFL linebacker, DT, D end, any player at this point, do yourself a favor and get a 20-minute ultrasound of your Achilles. It's painless. If the doc knows what they're doing, it'll be done in 10 minutes. I have one about 100 feet that way. You lay flat, you put your toes taut so that you can see the Achilles tendon, and you can see with very good specificity, even better than an MRI, the quality of that tendon. If it has black holes in it, that's a problem. These guys, we've lost way too many guys to Achilles injuries over the past 5 years. And if you're lucky, you're semi-good when you get back. You know, Kirk Cousins looked a little bit better last night. Still couldn't push the ball, at least to my untrained eye.
His arm
I didn't get to see Rodgers, but I'm assuming Rodgers looked a little better. But I didn't get to see the game, so I don't know. We'll see him on Thursday. And then we lost so many good defensive tackles, defensive ends. You saw Drake Greenlaw last year, who suffered it, who had Achilles tendonitis a couple weeks before, and that's why they're, in my opinion, they're being super careful with McCaffrey, because they've already seen this story play out once. Yes, different bodies, different people, but same red flags. Do yourself a favor and look at this. Teams are not preventative; they're reactive.
Yeah,
this is not this is not a standard protocol. But at this point, you making $20 to $30 million a year to play football is not standard. Go out of your way and pull LeBron James. Spend $1 million, $2 million on your health. If it allows you to play 2 more years, it was worth it. That's the problem, is that everybody just wants to be reactive. Hey, I'll get it, or it doesn't bother me. You have to change that mindset. By the time I see a lot of the NFL guys, they're 27, 28, 29, it's too late then. You already missed the window.
Yeah.
You know, for 20, 30, 50K in stem cells for regular people is a lot of money. But for someone who makes 15, 20, $30 million a year, that's a drop in the bucket.
Right.
Right? And look, did you see what they did with Jamar Chase? The team took out like a $50 million insurance policy on him.
Yep.
If in case he doesn't play or likely gets injured, the team is covering themselves. You need to be an advocate of yourself. My mentor is one of the team docs for the Bucs. I know what they can and can't do. They still have regular patients. They only see players twice a week for about 3 or 4 hours. How many players can you honestly see in 3 or 4 hours? There's what, 50, 60 guys on the squad, not including practice squad. All of these guys should have personal physicians like myself that are qualified, that have resources, that have time. They say, hey, doc, I want to come in and get this checked out. Are you available? No problem. One of the pros came in yesterday. Like, these guys need to be advocates for themselves, because once they get injured, look, Cooper Kupp potentially lost significant amount of time. You know, Debo just went down with another calf. You know, we saw Justin Jefferson. He got lucky. You know, Amon-Ra got lucky. But some of this stuff was random, and some of this stuff could have been prevented. You know, the greatest predictor of future injury is past injury.
Yep.
You know what bothers you. Stop trying to push through it. Stop being cheap. When you spend 10, 15, 20K in a strip club, but you don't want to put 20K in your knee.
True.
You know, like, that's the problem I have with this. Because the quality of the product in the field is less, because we're seeing less.
Let
right?
me ask you something.
Go ahead.
I got to ask you something that may be uncomfortable. I know you mentioned before you got out of the NFL and you didn't want to mess with it. Are there doctors in the NFL, though, that are suspect, to say the least, that are basically just there because the owner says, hey, we need this guy here or we need this guy here, really not to aid them in bettering them or longevity purposes or allowing them to continue their careers like you're so animate about right now, talking about what they should be doing? Because I've been talking about this investment thing for a while by the players with Smitty. The investment, in my opinion, is not what it used to be. I can look at the body types and tell you that. I don't need to be a scientist, doctor, or anything else, biomechanic or mechanist or anything. I can look at you and say these bodies are not what they used to be. And that tells me that there's a lack of investment. But are the doctors also kind of in with the owners, the league, Goodell, everybody else to say, hey, we'll either push them back too quickly or keep them out longer? Is there a truth to that?
So the way I see the sports medicine industry, so when you look at team docs, there's two parts. There's your surgeons, and then there's your non-surgicals. I'm the non-surgical. So look at concussions, all the sprains, everything that's not surgical, pretty much everything. So usually each team has 2. 2 of each. Sometimes they have more, but they have other specialties, but those are the main 4. Most of them are veterans. They've been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years. It's very hard to evolve in medicine. Think of it as a horse with blinders on. You don't want to learn all this new crazy stuff. You just do what you've been doing forever. And who does the physician work for at the end of the day on a pro team?
Owner.
The owner.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The owner, the GM, like the powers that be. Unfortunately, those players are temporary pieces. You know, they come and go. Yeah. If you step back and look at it, unfortunately, that's the harsh reality. You have a couple franchise players, yes. But the other thing, and the other issue with treating NFL players or professional athletes is that when you are one of the team docs, you also have the responsibility of the patient or of the player's family indirectly. Hey, my mom needs this. That becomes kind of ridiculous. You literally became a concierge doctor for 60 people and probably another 3 or 4 for each of that. And some of them like, hey, I know what that doc's going to do because that's what the team policy is. I don't want that. You know, I know a lot of teams that don't have the resources or won't spend the resources and will only use PRP or only use something that has the data to support it. The problem is these are not regular people. These are genetic freaks, right? This is the top 0.5% in the world. You can't just use regular stuff that you're going to treat Joe construction worker.
Right.
You know, you have to treat them as if they make $1 million a game like they do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Man, look how much they just paid Dak. Think about that
60, yeah, a year.
Like, even if you, as crazy as this number is going to sound, even if you spend $500,000 a game on him, it's nothing. It's in that context, it's nothing.
Right.
If you prevent him from missing one game, it was worth it.
Yeah,
you know,
people don't realize how animate you're animate about it, obviously, because it's passionate.
He cares
about it. Yeah, you care. But the problem I found, Doc, is just like coaching. You can't force them to care more than you do, because if you do, then we're just beating a dead horse. If they don't care more than us, we can't want it more than them. We can't want it more than them for them. It's crazy. It's asinine as it sounds, but it's true. Let me dive into some players real quick. T. Higgins, first thing off my brain. With the Bengals that should have beat Kansas City. Burrow should have won again in Kansas City. That team just seems like they do not care about Kansas City being the big bad wolf. The Bengals seem to be the team that can probably knock them off if healthy in a meaningful game. Is T. Higgins anywhere near back? Is it half injury, half contract? What's going on?
I think that plays a role. I agree. I think the Bengals should have won that game. A couple things fell in their favor. And the Chiefs pulled it off again. It wasn't pretty. Unfortunately, they lost Pacheco for a while. But Higgins suffered that unfortunate hamstring strain right before the season, and the timing was awful, kind of like A.J. Brown's. And I think there's a chance he plays in week 3. If the scheduling was different and this week's game and last week's game were flipped, I think it would have been better, but it is what it is. But I think he may be slow playing a little bit because hypothetically he comes back and restrains it. We might have a Justin Jefferson situation from last year where he misses
your list, Doc.
6-7 weeks.
We got your injury list. We'll put it in real quick, Bailey. Go through it real quick for the fans.
A lot of names.
You got like 2 hours?
Right. We'll go through a handful of them. Man, this is crazy. Just looking at this, JB, is crazy.
This is my premium injury report, which is like $1.25 a week if you want to pay for it. On injuryexperts.com. I fill this out like 5 times a day. I edit this stupid thing. Justin Jefferson will be fine. Leg whip, quad bruise. Got lucky. It could have been much worse. He got lucky. Cooper Kupp, definitely a high ankle Looks like a hip drop tackle, maybe a fracture. They haven't been super clear on it. They just said an extended period of time. So that tells me it's not just a simple thing. Amon Ra got lucky. I thought he might have had an MCL sprain, but ended up just being a bruise of his quad. The play that tweaked his knee just apparently didn't do anything, which is great. Debo, who's the king of soft tissue injuries, if you look at his injury history, it's crazy. Suffered a calf strain, which he's never suffered before, as far as I can tell. We've seen it with McCaffrey. We've seen it with Burrow. We've seen it with Russell Wilson. These are frustrating. These slowly heal. They re-injure easily, probably 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how aggressive they want to be and how he's healing. Addison will be back this week. Keenan Allen has plantar fasciitis on his right foot, which is frustrating. I'm a little surprised he hasn't had this addressed in the offseason because he dealt with it last year, but he should probably be back this week. Adunze didn't do a whole lot, which is not crazy because he was coming off of an MCL. We saw a couple tight ends suffer a couple big injuries. Evan Ingram tweaked or strained his hamstring in the warm-ups, which destroyed a lot of lineups because it was too late to shuffle. He's probably going to miss 2-3 weeks. Similar to A.J. Brown, who's also probably going to miss 2-3 weeks. And then Taysom Hill suffered a chest injury that he had to go to the hospital for. That usually tells me fracture or a rib or something where they had to make sure he was okay. Sounds like he checked out okay. I don't know how it's going to play out. Dalton Schultz looked okay with his ankle, but he'll come back. He'll be fine. And then the Njoku's out for a couple more weeks with high ankle. And Ferguson is probably going to play next week with his bone bruise MCL, maybe with a brace on. And then Downs missed another week with his high ankle. Probably not the worst idea. And we'll see. DeAndre Hopkins is struggling. He's struggling to separate. I didn't watch a whole lot of this game, but coming off of a bad MCL, it's this. He'll be getting better over the next couple of weeks, but I don't know, if Levis is going to be able to, put it together. Tyler Lockett looked okay. JSN looked incredible. Metcalf looked incredible. Juwan Jennings got lucky with a high ankle 2 weeks ago. I don't know what he did last week, but I think he did okay. But he's expected to step up in light of Debo's calf and McCaffrey obviously not being there. There's a couple other guys, but those are the main ones that come to mind, at least for
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
What's Russ Wilson?
So I think there's a chance that he can come back this week. He's still at increased risk for re-injury. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. I don't think Pittsburgh has had an offensive touchdown, if I'm mistaken, which is kind of silly through 2 games.
I think they had one.
But it's not many.
One this week, didn't they? Or am I tripping?
It's not many. I'll tell you that. If it is one, it's one. But
nonetheless, has 1 touchdown. So I think they have literally one touchdown.
They just scored. I think they scored this past week on a run play. Yeah.
But I mean, you can win these games, but they're not going to be pretty. And the defense looks legit. But I think Wilson is a better fit for this offense. I know I love Fields' talent, but eventually he's got to start racking up the points and put it together. And I haven't seen that yet. But I think Fields or Wilson can come back. The question is, do they bench the momentum that they have going?
I know.
So and that's a coaching question. I can't speak to that. You guys were talking about Bryce Young. That he was 8 for 10 for 22 yards in the first half. I don't even think I can throw a football. I could probably do that.
What do I know, Doc? I mean, I'm just telling you, dink and dunk. We're in the era of the dink and the dunk. I'm just telling you.
Bro, I mean, I'm ready to see the Red Rocket.
Well, he's in.
He's in. So he's here. He's here.
He's starting. He's starting. Bryce Young's out.
The kid
it's still crazy to me, though. As bad as he is, I'm like, we haven't seen this. Like, your year 2 is week 2, and you're getting benched. So you're basically saying, F your investment, everything you put into getting this guy and drafting this guy and being in a position, you're throwing it down the drain already. That's crazy to me. But
yeah,
we're gonna break that down.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you guys continue this, you're just throwing away another season.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
He can't be right now. They cannot be competitive with him.
Yeah.
And their defense
I thought he was going to be better. He ended the season pretty damn good last year, and they just didn't get him any help. And he looks even worse. It's just a bad
Canales, I thought he would be really good match for him given what he's done recently, but it hasn't.
I'm surprised he's pulling the trigger so quickly. I'm giving him a little credit at Canales to pull the trigger this fast. It's interesting that he's doing so. Hey, two guys before you get out of here. I know you're busy. CMC is on everybody's wish list, Christmas list, under the tree list. Is he going to be healthy for their 49ers? And then we have Mixon, who suffered something that seems to be maybe he's going to be out for a while in Houston with that dynamic offense. Where are we at with those two dynamic backs?
So Mixon got lucky reportedly last night. Reporter Wilson announced that it sounds like he's lucky. Maybe he plays this week. I thought it was either a high ankle or a medial ankle, which is the inside, super rare. That's what happened to Michael Thomas. Mixon actually tweeted out that basically it was a high ankle tackle in so many words. And we saw it was pretty clear that unfortunately it did tweak his ankle. He tried to come back in. He just didn't have it. Akers fumbled the ball like hot mess. Maybe he comes back this week. I'm not ready to say he's good and no concerns. But this would be unfortunate. If he goes down, this would be really unfortunate. As far as McCaffrey, he will deal with this all season. Okay. Specifically the Achilles, but the calf will heal. I'm not overly worried about the calf. The issue with the Achilles is that it doesn't heal quickly. You need it for every time you pick up that damn foot, which is everything. And the quality of that tendon has been through a lot. He's like a 2022 Lamborghini with tires on it from 15 years ago. Ooh. Like he's been pushed so hard since at Stanford that there's only so much, there's not many guys that can handle that ball. He's been able to do it, but eventually the wheels fall off. And sooner or later, they're going to have to activate him. It's probably going to be around week 6 to week 8 is my guess, if I were to guess. And even then, I think they're going to split him with Mason, assuming Mason's healthy at that point, because I don't think he can handle 25 touches a game. Nor should he. I understand what you're paying him. That's a separate discussion. If you have Super Bowl aspirations, you need McCaffrey. You need to get there. From a fantasy perspective, this is a nightmare. And that's why I had risk of him at the 101.
Yeah.
That was before we knew about the Achilles.
You posted a deal on Jermaine Johnson on your Twitter. Broke down his Achilles tear, and I know you're begging everybody to go out and do what you started the show off with, passionate about. Go get your damn Achilles. Are there an uprise? I don't remember the Achilles being this prominent and being. I know Kobe Bryant, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever that was. He came back, probably wasn't the same. He was already older as well. KD, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
We've seen so many, but
Klay Thompson, I think, had it. Like so many. Yeah,
maybe I'm ignorant, Doc, but I don't remember it happening. I don't remember it happening in any sport. I don't remember Achilles going. I never knew one person that had an Achilles tear when we were young. Is it a new thing or what?
No, it's not a new thing. I'll tell you, in my opinion, why it's happening.
Like, fuck.
Think about what sport you just mentioned 3 times. That's basketball.
Yeah.
What are they doing hundreds of times a week?
Jumping, explosive. Jumping, yeah.
And running. And these guys are on the floor for what, 40, 45, 48 minutes a game? Like, that is crazy volume, right? So it's not surprising that they're going to have Achilles issues.
But I don't remember Achilles back in the day with, like, in NBA.
Relevant. So I think part of it is they're bigger, faster, stronger.
Way more explosive.
But the tendon isn't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a reason why we call it our Achilles tendon, because it's not the weakest, but is a weak point in our body. And the tendon is huge. I mean, it's like both thumbs put together. It's a very thick tendon. But unfortunately, it has an area about a thumb width above the heel, the top of the heel, where it doesn't get blood supply at all. Zero. It just does not get. There's a little bit of blood flow coming up. There's a little bit of blood flow, and then there's a gap. And that gap doesn't get blood flow. It doesn't heal. Phrase, tears. There's a dichotomy or a massive split in the age ranges of when we get Achilles tears. It's early 20s or 50s, almost always men. Women, Achilles is super rare. I don't know why, but yeah. And now we're seeing it like I feel like every freaking week. This is a hard injury to come back from. J.K. Dobbins is doing something that I'm astonished by. Cam Akers is looking better than I thought he would. I'm not overly worried about the quarterbacks. They're not really mobile to begin with. D ends. This is a career-changing injury. They don't have the explosiveness anymore. That tendon can't fire 50, 60 times a game with 2 seconds in between plays or 5 seconds, whatever the timing is. That tendon is supposed to be taut. It's like an elastic band. And once it becomes loose, that's it. That's it. We lose it. It has to be tight. And once it starts to become loose, it's over.
That's interesting.
You can't fire it.
You said this about the Achilles tendon. Defensive end, rush ends. Jermaine Johnson, obviously a rush end. I hope this is. Tell me what that is. So
this is an ultrasound of your Achilles. This isn't one of mine. I just didn't have time to pull up one of mine, but you could see at the top of the screen. That's the top of the screen is the skin. So just underneath that is the Achilles tendon. I mean, we're talking about 1/8 of an inch underneath the skin. It's right there. And you can see on the right side how there's a kind of like lines going across at the top. Yeah. That's the Achilles tendon. Now those should be thick, tight, and no black or no darker areas. It should be nice and kind of whitish gray. Look at the one on the left. See how thick it is? See how there's some kind of dark areas in it? Those are partial tears. So, and this is only a credit card thick width, depending on how you're holding the probe. So this is not a large area, but this is a lot of information. The thing below it is a fat pad. We don't really worry about that. But in general, this is a lot of information in one screen. And if you really wanted to evaluate the integrity of that tendon, you put a needle into it and you put a little lidocaine in there. And if it doesn't change, it doesn't move, it's super healthy. If it opens up like the Red Sea, you have a bad tear. And it's just a matter of time.
How bad is Jermaine, do you know, or does it matter?
Torn. You know, yeah. I'm assuming he's going to go to Elatrash. That's who I would go to in LA. That's who did Kirk's. That's who did Dobbins, as far as we know. Once he gets medically cleared, I would put stem cells in it, and then I would rehab like crazy. You know, but don't rehab too quickly, because don't try to come back this year, because you're gonna cause a problem. Just assume you're gonna be out this year. Come back next year.
It's different. It's different going that way than it is going that way. And I mean, rushing the passer compared to retreating from the passer is a whole different drive and inertia, right?
Yeah.
Explosiveness. You know, and think about, these guys are pushing up against 300, 350, 60, 70-pound linemen.
Every play.
Fast and explosive. Like back 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, were the linemen this athletic?
No.
Like, that's a genuine question. I don't know.
No, they're not.
You know, I wasn't really.
We had Charles Haley. We've had freaks of nature out there. We've had the Jonathan Ogdens, the Basellis, the Anthony Munozes, the Reggie Whites, and the the Julius Peppers. We've had freaks. It just, I don't know, as collective, 600 of them. I don't know.
Right.
So, you know, I think that's part of it. It's like, if the guards and the tackles are in the high, you know, these big tight ends are bigger, faster, stronger. Well, that means the D end and DT have to also be bigger, faster, stronger, and quicker.
Right.
Yep.
To not only confront, but also get around.
Yeah.
Right. And then you add in the travel, you add in the amount of passing. So you know, they're not rushing the quarterback per se on a running play, but we haven't had as much running. This year, I guess, is a little bit different, but in general, you know, they're passing the ball like crazy. So now they have to, you know, brush the passer a lot more.
Got the ball, explode, run. Yep. Man.
You know, and then you add in the turf, in my opinion, causes a problem, whether directly or indirectly. And then you add poor nutrition, and it just starts to stack. And then it's the straw that broke the camel's back, and you can't go backwards. That's it. Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, it's
good to see it, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, Taco Bell and weed, Doc. I'm sticking to it.
Taco Bell and weed.
Hey, Doc, I appreciate you joining us, man. We look forward to seeing all the reports all week long. Thursday's game, Jets, Patriots, your Patriots. I got.
They should have won that game.
They should have.
I don't mind it.
Y'all looking better than I thought, Doc.
Hey, I'm telling you, they're better than people think. I'm telling you.
I have one plea. Please give me more than 3 catches and 19 yards for your wide receivers.
Hey, that's a league issue, Doc. That is a league-wide issue. Quarterbacks are bad. I'm telling you.
I thought Kirk was good last night.
Hunter Henry looked good, but come on, man. Like, and you guys finish with this. Have you guys ever seen during a weekly event in practice where the starting quarterback gets 70% of the reps and the backup gets 30% of the reps with the starters?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Look into it. Drake May. It's happening.
Hey, Doc, but also
kind of interesting, huh?
Your number one wideout don't practice all summer. You guys expect Cincinnati to be good with Burrow. Like, it ain't gonna happen. It's gonna take 5 weeks. I'm telling you, it's just fucked up. So,
how is Ayuk done?
He's shitty.
How is Chase done?
Shitty.
Lamb has been pretty good. I'll give him that.
Lamb's pretty good, yeah. But they practice.
And I called this out because Lamb trains with my buddy about 20 minutes north of here. I know how he hards. He pushes 3 hours a day. I can't say the same for Chase or Ayuk, and I'm assuming they're probably the same. But all I know is that if you look at it, who struggled and who hasn't.
Yeah.
When they are adamant about their money,
yes,
and they don't put in the work,
yep,
and it's not a switch they can just turn on.
Nah,
it takes timing. It takes chemistry.
Yeah,
it's true. Two things can be true though. Hey, if you ain't paying my money and I feel like I've earned it because I got the numbers, the only leverage the athlete has, unfortunately, in the NFL is to sit out. I don't think these guys want to sit out, but that's the only leverage they have. So it's just pay me and I'll be out there. That's just
yeah.
But work out.
It worked out for Ayuk, but I think he could have prevented this situation, right?
Yeah,
Didn't Ayuk's contract, wasn't it the same like a month before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a month before. Yeah.
And nothing changed. Well, nothing changed.
Yeah, for nothing.
So did he lose practice time?
Yeah.
He didn't gain any more financial leverage?
He was a sit-in, though.
Ayuk specifically, yeah. Ayuk specifically. Within that last month. Now, he gained financial leverage overall, but in that last little month frame, no, he did. He could have got there.
He
got
needs
some
to step up now.
early.
They just lost Debo, and they don't have CMC, and they just got whooped by the freaking Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a long season, Doc, though. It's a long
long
season, Doc. We shall see. Let's keep talking this thing week to week, and we'll see how Ayuk and Jamal how they're looking.
I'm not worried about
3,
them.
4, 5.
Yeah.
But we
I'm
only
not
have
worried
the
either.
time we have.
I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried at all. I think it's the shittiest NFL season we're ever going to witness in the history of football. So I'm just throwing it out there, but we'll see. Hey, Doc, love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Friday. Peace. Hey, man, we got hey Bailey, we got a video that we did for our major guest, and I forgot it was in here. And Bailey, I could pop it in because I think I have.
Yeah. I'm in my mode, ready to transform you into I hate a storm, Hail Marys, I make it pour. Good, I ain't lying, you little giants, we been defiant. Bryce, race the course, be the boss, breaking down the walls. We all in once the coin guitars, got the kind of action, never acting, we need to scramble to get traction, we make it happen. When it's snap, hold it to range, keep them up, Richardson, into the end zone.
Yeah. T Rich is in the build. I didn't know your feet was that quick, T Rich. I saw a few stop and starts. I didn't know you had it in your bag.
That's when I had a little bounce in my day, man. You know. that
Hey, if you go out right now, if you go out right now and run a shuttle, a pro shuttle, you blow your Achilles out?
Nah. I still get a little workout in. I got to chase these kids. You know, my older daughter be 18 in October, man. So
yeah, you gotta stay in shape.
Yeah, got to, man.
Damn, T Rich, 18. My daughter 26.
Jeez.
Got 18 and 16, man. Two, I got graduating year after year, man. It's crazy, man. How time flies.
Man. That's just crazy. All right, T-Ray, let's dive right into brass tacks. You called it out on this show last week. We were in the studio, and you said they're going to go up into Madison, Wisconsin. A bunch of cats on a big bar town. Everybody drink. Bunch of people with my skin tone up there. What'd you think about that going up there? They went up there and beat that ass like you said they would, and Smitty thought that Wisconsin was really going to have a chance. That shit was comical. I said, hell nah. Alabama about to whip that ass. Is Alabama the same Alabama as Smitty alluded to yesterday, even though they're in the new DeBoer era? I know it's so hard to answer that because it's so different without that man walking the sideline. But is this
they still dominate? No, let's give them. That's what it is.
Yeah,
like,
is this guy saying to everybody else like I'm this motherfucker too?
I think DeBoer is in a situation where he got handed a Ferrari, right? And now he done put speakers, he done put rims, he done put TVs, he done put the butterfly doors on there. You know what I'm saying? He done did all that. And so, do I think they're the same team? I think they got the pedigree. I think we had to start talking about that when we get into SEC play next week.
Hey, T-Rich, the aura in that building just screams win. It's hard to go in there and lose. Like, I don't know if you can just walk in there and lose. I don't think it's possible. That shit is like, it's like a real thing. Winning is a real contagious.
Energy's a real thing. I believe that.
Winning is contagious, dog. I'm just telling you. And unfortunately, so is losing. But winning is contagious. And this team, listen, if you go back and look at DeBoer's record, T-Rich, the dude has one of the best records as a head coach in football over the last 4 years. So it's not like this guy can't coach. I know he can coach. He's always been a good coach. I just was like, man, is this Bama team the same team losing 30 guys to the transfer and saving left? That's the only thing that everyone's asking about. I mean, they're proving guys like we're going to be in this mix. We're going to be in here. And there's some good teams.
Real quick, too, though, being devil's advocate here, listen, you guys did dominate Wisconsin. You did what you were supposed to do. But context does matter. I just want to let the fans know who didn't watch that game that Wisconsin did lose their starting quarterback early in that game, and that's when things started to shift. Here you go right here. Thanks, Bailey, for putting that up. Tyler Van Dyke will miss the remainder of the 2024 season after suffering an injury versus Alabama. Now, again, that's not your fault as an Alabama team. You control what you can control. Injuries happen every single game. But let's be real. We all played the game. We know once you lose your quarterback, I mean, it's hard to keep that momentum and that energy going for that team. So, I mean, 42-10, still dominant. But I used to watch when Trent Richardson was there, and y'all boys put up 65 points and 70 points. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Smitty, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I really don't. That game was never in question. That game wasn't close. It was being dominated from the onset. Tyler Van Dyke, in my opinion, is average at best. He wasn't going to change the outcome of that game. In my opinion, that game was onslaught from the beginning. Here's my take, and I'll ask T-Rich when he gets back in here. Why did you think that going air raid in a town like Madison, Wisconsin was a smart move when you know you can't get the athletes that you can anywhere else? Nobody's trying to go from Florida to Madison, Wisconsin. Nobody's trying to go from LA to Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, we got our outliers. You'll get a few guys here and there. But I'm going to be honest. What's going on, dog? What made them think they can go up there and the air raid and run air raid system in Madison, Wisconsin? Like, I get it. You don't got to be like Barry Alvarez and the old school Wisconsin teams with Ron Dane that ran the football. But also have to understand, T-Rich, what made this cat think he can go up there and go air raid when they know, by the way, the winter is coming soon in that same town that you ain't going to be able to throw the ball in?
Freezing cold, yeah.
They don't have the athletes, dog. You need to pound and pound and pound. And that's why they got blown out. And that's why they will get blown out against the better talented teams. I don't know.
Well, the thing about it, man, you got to know your team.
Yeah.
Like, know your guys. Like, like you got to get to a situation to where you got to start scheming for your matchups, right? Because if you don't have that, man, like who are you as a coach to not figure that out? Like, man, you ain't just gonna be able to air raid like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not who you got. You don't have I don't even know if you got a 4-star right now receiver that's gonna go out there and just jump out, you know.
You ain't gonna get them either
with that team. Yeah, you're not. That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna get them. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're like you.
Who you beating out in that conference? Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State for wideouts? Hell no. You probably won't even beat Minnesota out with the lead.
And now, Jimmy, you got USC. Oregon. Like you ain't beat none of them for wide out. So
yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's a bad system. I don't know. Fickle, I'm not a believer in anyway, but it is what it is. So I don't know. What's your overall thoughts, though? You like the performance of Milroe? He puts himself in this Heisman conversation, I'm sure, as long as they keep winning. You happy what you see so far right now in Tuscaloosa?
I think the guy's coming along, but like I said, you know me, man. I can't talk, about, giving somebody a pat on the back until they get into the SEC play. And our first game off the bat, it's gonna be, the real test. We got Georgia coming into Tuscaloosa, and so Kirby coming back home. That's home for Kirby. You know what I'm saying? And Nick, he'll be in a skybox.
Woo-wee.
In the skybox, he'll be in the skybox.
Oh, Nick, you saying Saban gonna be there and Kirby gonna be there at the Saints? They doing different things, but they gonna both be in the building.
Yeah, they doing different things. They gonna both be in the building, and so really, to me, it's gonna be one of them things like, okay, son, I done passed you the torch, Kirby. What do you do with this, or do you let this, or do you the other guy come in and do his thing? And so, what does that say to Nick though? If Dubois win this thing, and Kirby is being his protege.
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Is that a bad look on Nick in a weird way? Like is that,
I don't know.
Of the coaching tree. JB, what you think?
Nah, I mean that's what you want. That's he groomed them.
No. I think T. Richardson saying if Bama wins, right, and Kirby gets outperformed, whatever, by Kellen DeBoer. What does that say about Nick Saban? Is that like a weird? Okay, I hear what you're saying. All right.
Kirby already got him, dog. Kirby already got 2 of them on his ring. Well, Kirby, all Kirby got to do is I finger fuck with my diamonds.
He locked in here. He solidified. He good.
I'm finger fucking with my diamonds. Tupac. I'm just saying. I don't know if you know that, but I got 2 of these already. I don't know. I don't need to prove shit to you, DeBoer. So I don't know. I don't see it.
I feel you. I mean, listen, Kentucky just went out there and gave them everything they wanted. They Georgia barely got out of there 13-12. So I'm sure Bama looking at that game and they're like, hey, man, like these guys, we know who Georgia is. We respect them, but we know who we are too. We go out there and play our brand of football. There's no reason why we can't beat them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Georgia's just like this unbeatable team that's just like we've never seen. Like, nah, that's a very beatable team. They're great, but they're beatable.
Is Bama off this week?
Yeah, they off this week.
Yeah.
The question is though, like what you just said, Smitty, like that's one thing you find, right? And JB, I done heard you say this, on the show a lot. Don't let this team stick around with us. That ain't even nothing we finna do. Like we not finna let these guys feel like they could be on the same field of us at all in this game. Like we not taking the gas, we not taking the foot off the gas at all. Like we putting that foot on their neck. We're gonna put their ass asleep.
Yeah, real
quick, take their will, and one thing Kirby got to do, man, he got to, that offense got to be on point. Like he said, he called the offense out. It wasn't just the quarterback. He called them all out. Like we shouldn't have been put in that situation. He should have been put in that situation. And so it's just not him doing bad play. He called out the whole offense. So Kirby know he got to score fast. He got to, especially getting the ACC.
Hey, T-Rich, speaking of calling out the whole offense, when you were with the Browns, and you struggle, let's say you guys struggled and the quarterback said some things privately or publicly, Trevor Lawrence has come out and take a listen to this video. He's come out and called out the offense after the Browns game this past weekend.
How stunned are you by the offensive performance in the last 6 quarters?
Yeah, I mean, we suck right now, so I don't pretty shocked. Obviously we had a great offseason, great training camp, and we got to figure it out.
What happens when the quarterback goes public and says that, and you're in the locker room and you're like, "Well, fuck, man, you suck too." I mean, does that get rutted around the locker room, or you rather just have a private conversation, or how does that work? I know you were at the Browns at a time that you guys had an up and down, ebb and flow era where you guys were good, you were bad. What happens in the locker room, in the professional locker room, not college now, in the NFL where everybody's getting paid, when the quarterback like that goes out and says that?
Man, it just depends what ball club it is. So when I came into the Browns, like they had a losing mentality. Like when I first got there, they were like, we lost that first preseason game. Like you better get used to that.
Damn.
What? You used to what? There's gonna be a lot of that around here. What you mean?
And you came from winning.
Yeah, like that was a, you know what I'm saying? That was their culture. Like that, like they was okay with being here or just being in the game and don't finish. Like they was okay with that. Like me, I'm coming from a place to where every Saturday meant something to me. Like every practice meant something to me. So that mentality, I didn't know how to take that on. And I couldn't. And so for me, man, like it just depends who you got in that locker room too, man. Like you got to have somebody. If Trevor Lawrence gonna talk like that, he best believe better have somebody bagging him, and he better be bagging his damn play too. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just call out everybody and you not doing your job either. And I get it. He said the offense sucks right now.
I'm about to say thank you. He said we, in fairness.
Yeah, he said we. Yeah.
Hey guys, that motherfucker threw for 26 yards at half. Let's pump our brakes. He threw for 26 yards in the first half. And you're in the NFL, dog. Yeah. T-Rich, 5 quarterbacks threw under 41 yards at half last week. But I guess I'm just a hater. I don't know shit about quarterback play. Smitty, you got the next one, Smitty. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's tough right now. I kind of want to shift it to talking about just, I guess, the running backs.
Oh, no, he had 16. My bad. 16 yards.
In the first half?
16 yards. I gave him 10 yards too many. I'm sorry.
Sheesh.
So are they not getting open or are they just not throwing the ball? So we're going back to a running lead now, right? That's what we're doing?
Well, there's a lot of dink and dunk, like JB says. They are running the ball a lot more. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of factors.
Hey, T-Rich, I just love when I hear Smitty go into excuse mode. I just be laughing like a motherfucker. I'm like, God damn. How many excuses? How bad? Hey, T-Rich, how fucking bad can the excuses be when my NFL $200 million motherfucker threw for 16 yards? You better have a hell of a.
I'm not defending. You know, I ain't defending Trevor Lawrence. I don't like the Jags.
Hey, T-Rich, did we have a motherfucking hurricane hit that motherfucker or something I don't know about off the shore?
They still having a hard time with Katrina and Ivan down there too. So,
go ahead, Smitty. My bad. Go ahead, Smitty.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, it's kind of to Trevor. I mean, to T-Rich's point, he said, "Are we moving to a running league?" I kind of want to talk about the running backs because first 2 weeks we've been seeing a lot of
Mixon
running backs actually playing big time. Mixon, Josh Jacobs for the Packers killed my Colts.
Where's Jonathan Taylor at though? I don't hear Jonathan Taylor's name.
No, Jonathan Taylor rushed over 100 yards too against the Packers. He played well too.
How many carries though?
I had to look it up.
T-Rich, the carries seem to be up for the higher echelon back. Like Brian Robinson last night, they were feeding his ass on outside zone, inside zone. He was bouncing it. I thought he had a good game last night. Ended up winning the game late. Even they gave the ball to Algier. They were just 1-2 inside out last night. They attacked the Eagles. I see more of run purposes this year than I have in the last few years.
Everything's full circle, man. It's crazy.
But then you got CMC out for how long? Right. We don't know.
But shoot, Jordan Mason came in and didn't miss a beat. So
Mixon's out.
But he's coming back. It's not that serious, though. That's just more.
I'm just saying. That's why, though, right, T-Rich? That's why they won't pay him.
Well, the thing is, like, they don't condition the running back body no more either. To be taken out, like they don't. Bro, they practice maybe I think 2 times a year now full pads. I know it was 4 at one point. I think it's down to 2. Like they don't condition. Like you got
a year.
A year.
Yeah, a year.
Yeah, dog. They don't practice no more in pads.
That's crazy. Okay, my fault. Go ahead.
Pads. Talk about pads.
Pads. What is pads?
Pads?
Hey, T-Rich, but we got to go hit. We're going to go hit in them, though. Make it make sense.
So you want me to wear 60 pounds of pads that I ain't even practicing all week, all year?
Shit
go
crazy.
out there Sunday.
You wonder why injuries at all-time high. Injuries at all-time high. And I got helmets on. And I got a condom on my helmet.
And it still ain't working, JB? It still ain't helping?
Yeah, that fucking helmet condom ain't doing nothing. I ain't never heard of a helmet condom. What is it going to do? Stop your spine from snapping? No. I mean, it's the dumbest shit I ever heard of. Anyway, I don't know. Don't get me started on the helmet condom, Taco Bell, and weed. I don't know.
I got to ask you this, T-Rich. Going back, I know we're going back and forth right now, but going back to college, you said you can't look at Alabama until like they really face, a serious SEC opponent. I know you're big on the SEC. You think SEC is like the top dog. Can't nobody mess with them. I saw last weekend that a team from my conference I played in, the MAC, Toledo, went to play Mississippi State and beat that ass. I'm just curious about your reaction as a SEC supporter and a guy who thinks SEC is the king and can't nobody touch him. What's your reaction to a team from my conference, the MAC, Toledo, beating the ass of an SEC team? I'm just curious. I need to just talk to you about it.
And I tell you what, man, when I seen that, I said, I'm for the hear from Smitty. Listen, I was in the closet looking for my damn belt because they got belted ass.
Yeah.
Last week. They Mississippi State, what are we doing?
Built
come on, man. Like, come on, man.
Hey, I don't get it.
Like, what are we doing? Like,
hey, Smitty, what was your team? Ball State. How'd that end up, though?
Huh?
How was Ball State against the ACC team end up?
Bailey, my sound is Bailey. Can you hear me, Bailey? My sound is messing up, Bailey.
Yeah, he hears it, but it's all good. Yeah, that's right, T-Rich. Smack that ass. That's what happened to Ball State. Chirp that motherfucker because they got their ass whooped like they stole something.
I'm going to be real with you. There was a lot of cheating going on. The game got delayed 2 hours. Weather control. It was a lot going on down in Miami. It was a lot going on, man.
You bet not. You bet not.
It was not fair. It was not fair, so I'm going to say.
Get the switch. Get the fucking switch out. That motherfucker, boy. Hey, Jalen Milroe, is he really a Heisman contender?
I think so.
They got to win, though, right?
Yeah, they got to win. I think he is because at the end of the day, when he want to put his head down and really go get the first down, he the running game too. So I think as an all-around athlete right now, I don't see nobody as an all-around athlete. I ain't gonna say nobody because we do have some guys out there, but to be a full package at quarterback right now.
All right, quarterback, okay. All
right. Let me go back. Quarterback right now.
All right.
It's kind of one of them things. It's one or two guys that's up there right now. It'd be like, I don't know where that came from. But it's the new thing on the cell phone.
Maybe I was high or something just now. I didn't know what I just saw.
What the hell is that?
Lord Jesus.
Everybody saw the balloon?
I thought maybe you was tripping right now.
I thought T-Rich birthday or something.
Yeah, happy birthday, my brother. I mean, I don't know. Congrats.
Hey, T-Rich. Oh, that's Apple, they saying.
Yeah, when you on your phone, there's certain things you do. Like, if T-Rich does this, I think the emoji going to pop up. There's certain things where the phone can read your face. You know, technology's crazy. But the reason I reacted to your athlete line, though, because Travis Hunter came to my mind. As soon as you said athlete, Travis Hunter, I think he's the best player in the world. I want to transition to that game real quick. Just thoughts on this Colorado. Obviously, they got their ass beat against Nebraska. So this was a must-win going against Colorado State, who we know isn't a great team, but it's still a rival, right? So it was a game that went to overtime last year. A lot of trash talking. They went out there and they dominated. Were you impressed by Colorado? Understand their standard is different. It's not Bama. For Colorado, was that a big win for them? I guess what was your thoughts on that?
I guess it was a big win for them. I mean, anytime you got a rival game, it's a big win, right? But
see, T-Rich, hold on, time out.
Nobody cares, Smitty. Nobody cares but you.
But no, he don't care about nothing. He don't care about Bama winning. He played in the era where Bama was so damn dominant that nothing impresses him. Like nothing.
Well, it's one of them things to where it's like, man, like we talking about Colorado State, and it's like.
Right.
I get it. It's a rival, but at the same time, those games are expected to be. And I can't be wrong because Alabama and Auburn, the way Auburn been looking lately, Alabama should dominate every year, right?
Yes.
Still Auburn, no. Still Auburn.
But it's still Auburn.
No, it ain't. No, let's be consistent then. Let's be consistent. Ain't no still Auburn. Auburn been shitty. So that's what it is.
Auburn ain't never going to beat Colorado State, though. Ain't never going to beat Colorado State.
And Colorado, hold on. But it's even, though, because Colorado ain't going to never beat Bama. So it's fucking even. Keep going, T-Rich.
But I would say this, like the first two games I've seen from them, I haven't seen a jump yet to be like, oh, they ready now. I haven't seen that just yet, and I know it's early in the season right now. I mean, but you got to win these games that really mean something. And like I said, every game means something, but these games that you say that you came here with your Louis Vuitton luggage in. and you got all these transfers coming in, like we got to put that on the wax somewhere, like, and it can't just be Travis. Like we get it, Travis gonna be Travis. Travis, you can't stop that type of talent, right? But we got to see something else other than Travis, and they got some receivers that they're not giving respect out there too, though. They got to. What's the guy that I think he had like 9 catches?
Horn's
yeah,
a beast.
they don't talk about him at all. Like what's going on? Like Horn is a dog.
Jimmy Horn's a dog
out there winning. Like
even
he's winning the one-on-one.
Jonte Wester's solid too. Sure, they got some guys out there. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It ain't like they don't have the guys. You getting them guys. You getting who you want.
Yeah,
you getting who you want. One thing you notice about Nick when he first started.
But we always talk about the same 2 players there at that program, man. It's fucking Shador and Hunter. Let's keep it real.
I mean, that's 2 best players on the team. That's what you gonna do.
I don't care, but that's not normal behavior. Smitty, come on, man. Stop. That's not how you promote.
When we talk Bama, who we talk about? Jalen Milroe. That's all we talk about. They got hella guys at Bama, but we don't talk about nobody else. But Jalen Milroe. We talk about Texas. We talk about fucking now Arch Manning because he's a Manning. Or we talk about Quinn Ewers. Every team got their main guys. It's not just, come on, stop it, JB. Stop it. We do it for every team. Stop.
We talk about 3 running backs at Texas, dog. 3 other receivers, Quinn Ewers, a defensive line. They all
we do not talk about none of them.
Programs, T-Rich, I hear about all kind of other people. We've been hearing about 2 motherfuckers in Colorado for 2 years. I hear 2 motherfucking names. Tell me, hey, give me the roster right now.
The left tackle, Jimmy Horn. We got.
Give me their names right now. Give me their names. Go.
I can't get nobody. I can't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask. My brain crazy. I can't say nobody on Bama's team right now. Sort of guy. By name. No, ain't no. You didn't win that. Yeah,
we don't talk about Bama. We talk about Colorado on this show.
I'm telling you that any of these teams, I couldn't give you those names. That's what I'm telling you.
All right. T-Rich, man, it's great to have you on Tuesday. It's T-Rich Tuesday.
Don't be rushing T-Rich. T-Rich don't want to leave yet.
Hey, Steve. Hey, T-Rich. What's going on over at
Hoover?
Over at your, you can't say that name, Smitty. Smitty just screwed it up. All right, T-Rich. We'll see you next Tuesday, man.
I just saved you, brother, because I know JB might put you. I know I'm saving my brother. I ain't letting the white man get you. I got you.
No, you got him.
I got you.
You fucked them.
I'm protecting his job.
We got to
get a brother fired always.
Yeah, it is Talk That Talk Tuesday, and it is time to talk about some Canelo, Miami Hurricanes, and the bottom of the barrel and top of the world with our main man, the Korean Cosell, the encyclopedia himself, Steve Kim. Steve, what up, man?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, I appreciate you. You'll be right on with Whitlock after this. We'll be ending the show after you because I got to take Callie to fucking get an ACL surgery. Fucking shit me with this act. But anyway, another football palooza in the wrap. I saw your breakdown of the entire weekend in a nutshell, and I retweeted it, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty damn good. As Steve is the great writer, poet that he is. Again, what's your biggest takeaway over the weekend besides just beating the dog shit out of Ball State?
Well, no, I tell you one thing, Georgia struggled. Maybe they're not as unbeatable, but again, they've had problems at Kentucky before.
Yeah.
A lot of people are ripping Stoops for not going for it. You know, I watched some cut-ups of the game. I think the biggest regret that staff's going to have, I don't think they took enough shots downfield. They played first down to first down, and they tried to get these long scoring drives. But I've told this before. When you play a Georgia or an Alabama, it is hard to put together long, sustained 12 to 15 play drives. Eventually, they will stop you or you will make a mistake. And I get it, what you have at quarterback with Vandergriff. He's a very slow reacting guy that has to see a guy open, does not have great anticipation. But there are times when you are right around midfield, you have to dial something up deep and stretch the defense, take the defense, and try to challenge them and see if you hit something. You know, if they just score one touchdown in one of those drives where they score, they win the game. So I kind of understood the punt. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I understood what he was thinking. The defense played well the whole game, and then Georgia was able to move the chains, and it ended the game. But when you play a team like Georgia, you better take some shots vertically on early downs or dial something up. And if you're worried about pass pressure, just go with the max protect and say, look, this is a 1 or 2 man read and just chuck it down there. See if we can at least get a flag. That's a takeaway that I had. Also, we're going to talk about this in the bottom 5, top 5. I think there's some coaches that are already on the hot seat early on.
Let's get to it, baby. Let's bring his top of the world and bottom of the barrel right into it, because we have ours to discuss too. When Steve gets off from yesterday, Smitty, our college, we got to wrap that up.
Bottom.
Let's get into Steve Kim's bottom of the barrel and top of the world. Top of the world, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, and I want to make this clear. I'm trying to mix it up because you can put the same player in there week after week. I want to try to focus on players I have not focused on before. I want to shuffle the deck. So number 1, KJ Jefferson out of UCF. I think that's a real good fit with Gus Malzahn. Great comeback he led UCF on the road against a really good Baylor team that can move the ball. Josh Hoover. TCU played a strong game. But KJ Jefferson is a big, strong guy. I don't want to call him budget Cam Newton, but he has some of the same attributes, and Gus Malzahn has some real good weapons. RJ Harvey, he got a good receiver out there that had a real big game. UCF, they host Colorado in a week or two. That's going to be a really fun, exciting game. Both offenses are going to go up and down the field. Hey, how about Wazoo and Luke Dicker? 3-0, and they get to keep the Apple Cup. Score 1 for the Pac-2. Big win on a neutral setting. They played at the Seahawks Stadium. Didn't understand that. It's actually funny to see that game and the Civil War between Oregon and Oregon State in September. You've ruined it. But good job by the Cougs. Great goal line stand. They are making things happen. There is life after Cam Ward in the Palouse. Number 3, Ole Miss. I get it. They're not playing much, but, man, they look very good offensively. And when you play teams that you are much better than, your job is to blow them out, because how you win in college actually matters.
Who's more impressive, them or Tennessee?
That's a tough one. Tennessee has at least played North Carolina State, and they hung a 50-burger on them. So based on the fact that they have played at least one top 25 to top 30 team, I would say them. But Jackson Dart is really operating that offense well. And defensively, this is where Ole Miss had some issues last year. They were pushed around. But with guys like Princely and Walter Nolan, they have some upper-level big war daddies up front. And those guys were specifically brought in for one game, Georgia. They got blown out by Georgia last year. They got bullied up front. But Ole Miss, one thing about Lane Kiffin, he will always have a state-of-the-art offense. And a lot of Florida fans feel as though he should be at the top of their list as their next coach. I'll be honest with you. I'm not so sure right now that Florida is as good a job as Ole Miss. Now, you can make an argument with Lane Kiffin. It swings things. But I've always said coaches sometimes are better off where they are in building their own legacy and trying to live into the shadow of another one. And Ole Miss, they will always treat Lane Kiffin with higher esteem than Florida ever will with him, because quite frankly, he may never be Steve Spurrier or Urban Meyer. Number 4. Now, here is a coach that has made an immediate difference, and it was night and day, and this ties into my bottom 5. But everywhere this guy has gone, all they've done is score a lot of points and win. Cignetti. Cignetti in Indiana, and they have that quarterback, Curtis Rourke, running that spread. I have never seen an Indiana team that can just score the ball quickly with tempo and pace and precision, and it was a mismatch. It was an absolute mismatch. Looking at the schedule, they could be undefeated coming into the Nebraska game. And if I would have said to you 6 weeks ago, hey, guys, Nebraska, Indiana, it's going to be a Big Ten showdown of unbeatens, you would have given me 1,000-to-1 odds. But I don't know how long Indiana can keep Cignetti. But like a Fran Brown at Syracuse, it goes to show you sometimes you don't need 2-3 years. A coach can absolutely make a difference in style and culture. So shout out to Indiana. It's not basketball season yet after all. And then finally, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is actually overshadowed by this Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders dynamic. Yes. He might be the best pound-for-pound, position-for-position player in football. He should be in all the Heisman Trophy talk. However, every week it's something else that Shedeur gets into, whether it's fair or not. we will never see another player, in my view, that'll be a shutdown corner and a wide receiver one and be productive and be all-American caliber on both sides of the ball at the same time. This will never be done again. So shout out to him. And now they play Baylor. Now, Baylor, I'm looking at them. That's a tougher game athletically than Colorado State. And if Sawyer Robertson can play steady quarterback, Baylor has some pretty good skill players. They have a good running back duo in Bryce and Robinson, and they have another one, Richard Reese. Those guys, I think, can be a little bit of a problem, but I don't know if they have anyone that can match up with Travis Hunter offensively on the other side of the ball. But again, that's a game that I think Colorado should look at as very, very winnable. Now,
you're an encyclopedia, Steve. Go help the younger crowd and even maybe Smitty. Smitty, of course, knows who these guys are, but can you go back and tell these people what it was like? Because what he's doing, Travis Hunter, we saw Champ Bailey spot play both positions and return, and we saw Charles Woodson do it at an all-time cliff and get a
Carl
Heisman.
Pickens played a little cornerback and
Randall L at Indiana a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Hester played
Boss
different
Bailey,
positions.
I think Boss Bailey did it a little bit. This is different.
Basically what would happen with those guys you mentioned, they were all-American caliber players on either offense or defense, and they would have a package of plays or situations where they would be brought in. Okay, that's one of the reasons why Woodson won that Heisman Trophy in '97, because he actually made some great plays, and he was a great special teams player. Had some really iconic punt returns, one against, I believe, Ohio State, that I thought sealed the Heisman for him. Champ Bailey was pretty productive at wide receiver, though. He got more passes thrown his way than I remember. Devin Hester, they can never find a position for him, but people forget he had caught passes at Miami as an offensive player, had interceptions, and was an all-time great kick and punt returner. But there has never been a guy that I can recall in modern football history, and I'm not really counting Gordy Lockbaum because he didn't play Division I football, to play over 110 plays on average every single week and be a central focus of not only your own game plan, but the opposition. I don't know how long it can really sustain itself. I don't know if his body's going to wear out. I don't know what's going to happen when he has to match up with better athletes. Look, I still think at cornerback he needs refinement. His man press technique, I've seen him get beat more than once. I don't think he uses his hands all that well, but he's got unbelievable ball skills and anticipation in zone coverage. Okay, that's where I think he really thrives. And as a wide receiver, look, he had 11 catches, and still to be the number one cornerback on the other side of the ball is unheard of in modern day football. So Travis Hunter is actually overshadowed by some of that circus that takes place in Boulder, Colorado. Now, bottom five. Mike Norvell.
See,
you were on a great run. You rebuilt the program, but you have to understand one thing about what Florida State did. They tried to make the protein bar the foundation of their nutrition. The protein bar is a supplement. You use it when you're in a pinch. You use it when there's no food available, but you're still eating 3 to 4 square meals a day of real food. Try to live 3 days, 4 days, 5 days where all you eat is protein bars. It's not going to be good for you. It really isn't. And they are finding out that Alabama's trash is not your treasure. And they made a terrible misevaluation on DJU. They had to understand one thing. He is not what I would call an athletic, twitchy athlete. And right now, he is staring down the pass rush, and he's freezing, and he does not have that athleticism of Jordan Travis to escape and make bad plays in the good ones. And guys, guess what? I think they're going 0-4. They play Cal this Saturday night, and Cal is actually solid. And this is the thing that I've noticed about Florida State in college football. When you have a quarterback deficit, you actually are in a real hole. Game 1, Haynes King. I gave Georgia Tech the quarterback advantage. Game 2, Tommy Castellanos. Boston College gave him the advantage. Game 3, Seth Hennigan. May not be a great quarterback, but he's a functional, scrappy guy that made all the plays and did not hurt Memphis. He kept that offense moving. He was the better quarterback. And coming into Saturday night with Cal Berkeley, Fernando Mendoza is the superior quarterback. Young man out of Columbus High School in Miami, Florida. I don't know the status of Jaden Ott, but I actually like the way Javion Thomas and Kadarius Callaway ran the ball against San Diego State, wore them down. And Cal has maybe the best cornerback on the West Coast that I've seen, Mole Williams, number 3. He looks like he has an NFL future. Out of Oxnard, California, by the way. Cal might be 4-0 when they host Miami October 5th, game that I'm going to be at in Berkeley, California. So I'll go on the record right now. Mike Norvell, I don't think he's going to win a game till they play, I think, Charleston Southern maybe. I'm looking at that schedule. I'm thinking this could be a 3-win team. Also, I'm going to keep it in Florida. Damn. Billy Napier, I'm going to put him on this week because he may not be here next week. Bad team, man. Bad team, as Charles Barkley once said. And I didn't understand starting Graham Mertz. There's no future with Mertz.
I don't get that shit.
Start with DJ Lagway because there's an old phrase. If you're going to be bad, be young. And I think both Florida State and Florida, starting with their quarterbacks, and again, the coaches may not be there, I have to start thinking about the future. There's no future in DJU. I don't think there's any future in Graham Mertz. If I am a fan of one of those two programs, and thankfully I'm not, I want to see the young guys. I want to see whether Florida State has a 5-star quarterback, Luke Comerhoke, I believe is his name. I want to see if he's ready. Or is Brock Glenn really that bad that he can't beat out DJU? And what I saw to Florida Saturday at your house, JB, they were uninterested in playing the game. And Texas A&M had a young quarterback that took over for Wigman. I think Connor Wigman may have just become Wally Pipp. That young kid, Reed, boy, he looked good. They may have found their quarterback. Then moving on, South Carolina. Look, terrible call on that pick 6 that was taken back. But I know Lenoris Sellers is a key element of what they do. However, you're up 17-0 at home. Louisiana State is struggling. You got to win that game. They made so many mistakes, but it goes to show you the backup quarterback is vital because once they brought in Robertson, Robbie Ashford and Simpson, they could not operate that offense completely or fully or effectively. And then number 4, Colorado State. You did all that talking, and Norvell did all that talking.
They look so bad.
They look so bad in every way, and I get it. When Torrey Holton was hobbled, they had no threats outside. I get it. And once Justin Marshall got knocked out of the game, you had no threat in the backfield. But that game plan of just run, it's 3rd and 9, you made the Colorado defense more effective than it really is. And then number 5, now I want to say something right now. I was this close to putting on Deshaun Foster and UCLA. They don't look coached. I know it's only 2 games in, but that football program near the city of LA, they have some issues. They don't look coached at all. And JB, they look worse than they did against Hawaii. It's not even the score. Look at the UCLA.
Is that the program near the ocean? And
near LA, near the 405 and Westwood. Yeah.
I think he has an In-N-Out and a Fat Burger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they look bad. They look worse than they did against Hawaii. And folks, look at the UCLA schedule in this new beefed up Big Ten. I don't know if I see another for sure victory. I don't think they win 3 games this year, guys. Just look at that schedule. But I'm going to put in Purdue. Rod Woodson did not play 9 positions at Purdue to do this. 66-7 to a Notre Dame team that could not move the ball against the Hammock Huskies of Northern Illinois. I believe Ryan Walters, that's the type of loss coach that even though it's only his 2nd year as a young coach, as an athletic director, I start thinking to myself, did I make a mistake here? I think that I don't know if the seat's warm, but if I am running that Purdue athletic department after that game, I'm thinking, all right, let's get a short list of guys who are going to replace Ryan Walters. Hold on for a second, guys.
You good?
God, that's a tough business, Smitty. I'm just telling you, it's very tough. Finite business.
All right, got the sun out of my eyes. So that's where I have the bottom 5. Another great week of college football. And then there it is. Always something happening.
Yeah.
Always, man. That was a great
All right, let's
breakdown,
dive in. Smitty, you got to dive into the weekend's punching bag that I thought was a fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys had it at the Palooza, the big time fight, Canelo and Berlanga. Obviously, Canelo, I mean, we watched it. He dominated throughout, but I in my opinion, I think Berlanga, he was tough. You know what I'm saying? He took some punches. He didn't back down. He stayed tough. But what was your overall, I guess, evaluation and view and thoughts about the fight?
I thought the fight was okay, better than I expected, but I had a very low bar.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. Look, did Berlanga show more grit and toughness than I anticipated or what many people believe? Yeah, but at the same time, he never tried to win. And as Herman Edwards once said, you play to win the game. Hello? And I'm thinking to myself, hey, Edgar, you're getting paid a lot of money. You're never getting a rematch. And I get it. I'm not the one getting hit, but then you chose to be a fighter, not me. And certain people are going out of the way to praise this. Is that how low the bar has been set? And that was the basis of my column yesterday for snack.com. Was it a moral victory, or did Berlanga just clear a low bar? As you would say, Smitty, maybe both can be true. But is that what it's come down to, that a pay-per-view fight where people have to pay $90, we're going to praise a guy just for sticking around? You made it to the shore. You didn't drown. He never tried to win. He never tried to win. And I remember a point in time where that just merely enough was not good enough.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. So let me ask you this. I mean, what do you feel like is next for Canelo? I mean, we saw they had Kendrick Lamar sitting there ringside ready to, I'm sorry, Terrence Crawford sitting there ringside ready to fight. You know, I'm assuming trying to challenge him. But again, after the fight, Canelo's going to always say, hey, I'm going to be with my family and think this through. The typical answer that boxers give after a win. What do you think is the next fight for him?
I have no idea. He said something about a rematch with Bivol, which is really surprising because that seems like a bad matchup at this particular point in time. I was at that first fight a couple years ago. I thought it was 10-2. The judges tried to basically, I don't want to say fix it, but they were highly influenced, and they still couldn't find a way to even make it a draw for Canelo Alvarez. I get the sense that if Beterbiev wins that fight October 12th, he's not going to want Beterbiev. But if Bivol wins, he has said out of his own mouth, maybe I'll do that rematch. Okay, that's one option. But let's say that option is not available. Terrence Crawford continues to campaign for that fight. I think there's a curiosity factor given the fact that Terrence Crawford has competitive greatness and his ledger in terms of what he has accomplished inside the ring, given his status as a top 2 or 3 fighter in the world at the very worst. And I can almost guarantee you this, even though he would be at a size and strength deficit, unlike Edgar Berlanga, at least in the early stages of this fight, Crawford would actually play to win the game. And I think that's big with me.
Man.
Yeah, I'd watch them. I'd watch those fights. That'd be good, interesting, to be honest. Smitty, let's dive into ours real quick with Steve before he gets out of here. Our top 5s and bottom 5s. You did yours yesterday. I'll get to mine. Steve or Bailey, if you bring it in.
For college football, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
College from yesterday, our college stuff. Yesterday's college, bottom of the barrel, top of the world. I know we talked about it yesterday, Smitty. Steve, here's mine, Steve.
Bottom.
Here's the bottom of the barrel for me. Both teams in Florida. They're gonna have issues. Let me ask you this: is Mario Cristobal sliding in Lagway's DMs right now for next year?
Well, this is the reality. Miami will probably need another bridge quarterback after Cam Ward. I don't know if Emory Williams is going to do enough to be the quarterback of the present in 2025. I know they got Luke Nickel coming in, who they really like. And they have another quarterback after that, who I believe may be the most dynamic quarterback prospect they brought in a very long time because he fits today's football. But would Lagway be a guy that if he was available would be someone that Miami would dial up? I believe so, yes. I think everyone would. When you watch Lagway, you could see the arm talent, the strength and the athleticism. But he needs a lot of work, though. That's the other thing, though. He had a big game against a directional school a couple of weeks ago. Didn't have much success against A&M. But yes, Lagway is a guy that if you should announce that if Napier is jettisoned, hey, I'm in the portal, there will be 75 major colleges knocking on his door.
Norvell's come out and said he was happy with DJ's performance. He prepares right, et cetera. Yeah, the excuses are being made already. Listen, I don't know what's going on there. I wouldn't be shocked if he's benched. I don't see Norvell being fired. He'll be on the hot seat and everybody will bitch and moan, but he went undefeated last year. That's going to save him at least another year.
Yeah.
Florida, though, if they lose to Mississippi State this weekend,
I wouldn't let him on the bus.
He's gone on Sunday.
I
right?
wouldn't
He's
even
fired.
fire him on the tarmac.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even let him on the bus. I'd call him an Uber. Maybe an Uber Black. Be a class act about it.
At least give him a black, Steve.
Not even just it's the Uber Black. I'd be like, we're going to get you an SUV. Because quite frankly, pack your bags.
Yeah.
I mean, and Mississippi State is bad.
Yeah,
that's a bad Mississippi.
Arizona State beat them. They're bad. Florida, by the way, is just it was horrible to watch them. No investment. That team doesn't run to the ball on defense. They stand straight up. They're lazy pass rushers. They are not bought into Napier. I don't see how the collectives, the boosters, and the administration don't see it. I've told you that 2 years ago when I saw guys smacking assistant coaches off their hands. Like, they don't give a fuck over there. Colorado State was the worst game plan I've ever seen as an adult. The other night, it was the worst game plan on defense and offense that I've ever seen. It was the worst coaching job of the year. Purdue, Ryan Walters, Notre Dame got beat by a MAC team, Smitty alludes to, and then you go in there and get a 66 burger put on you. That's just no excuse. And then Georgia just playing so mediocre after another DUI arrest. So I don't know what's going on there. My top of the world performances of the week, Smitty.
Okay.
I got a mixture like Steve. I got some players and some coaches. Memphis, they're just not supposed to beat a Florida State. I don't care if you think it's equitable and blah, blah, blah. They just shouldn't beat Florida State, just like Toledo should never beat Mississippi State. I just don't think – I think Memphis deserves to be on that list at the number one spot. Travis Hunter as a player, like we've already alluded to, I got him at number 2 this week. And Arch Manning coming in the game cold, taking the longest QB run since Vince Evans. I think he had a 67 – Vince Young had a 67-yarder. And then Alabama for going up to Madison and proving a lot of people, doubters, wrong that Coach DeBoer can coach. And that's still Alabama. And then Oregon. Putting 49 on arrival, even though it's week 2. It's a weird dynamic, but they handle business. Steve and I have been asking, when does this Oregon team show up? Steve, dive into that real quick. I don't know. Oregon showed something, but is Oregon State really any good?
Look, Oregon State was never going to stop that offense. Just watching the first 3 drives, I said they're going to have to really hand the ball over to them. I heard that Oregon shuffled the interior of that offensive line, and they seem to operate much better. But again, this Oregon State team is not the one we saw last year. That was tough. There is no Damian Martinez. Aiden Childs is at Michigan State, as is their coach, and I think they took their best tight end. So that team was gutted. And look, here's the difference. Washington State played a much more beatable Washington team than Oregon State did against Oregon. Oregon still has to get better significantly before I can comfortably say that they will beat Ohio State at home. I believe that game is on a loaded October 12th schedule. As for Alabama, that's not really much of a surprise. As soon as Tyler Van Dyke went down, you can say what you want about him. Tyler Van Dyke could have actually operated the pass game a little bit better. But once he blew out his knee and he's out for the year, which is really unfortunate, Wisconsin had no shot, and they started turning the ball over. Jalen Milroe is a lot like Lamar Jackson. And he really is. At times, he's the best athlete on the field. He could throw the deep pass. He's going to frustrate you a little bit because he's going to struggle in the intermediate throw game. But he makes up for it with some unbelievable athletic plays. And as for Memphis has been a real program for about 8-9 years, though. I mean, you look at NFL rosters, there's guys from Memphis There are. They consistently get a few guys drafted. I think Ontario Poe went there. They've had a lot of good running backs go there. Hennigan is one of these quarterbacks at that level. He's not graceful. He's not great, but he's tough, sound, and solid. And he made a lot of good winning plays, kept them in the ball game. And that 20-12, I don't think was indicative of how much they actually controlled that game. And that's a good win for them. And you know what? That's the type of victory. It's a feather in the cap as you start looking at playoffs down the line.
Steve, last night, before you get out of here, your thoughts last night on the game. Kirk Cousins comes back late, throws a deep outcut. Jeff, Nadu, and I came on and did a recap show. And I showed it, and I'm like, Slay gets caught flat-footed at the goal line. I did not understand it. He should have just PI'd him at that point, but he lets him beat him on a deep outcut on a 3-by-1 set. Kirk Cousins, I didn't see him driving it. He didn't get anything on the football all night long. Dr. Jesse Morse talked about his driving off that Achilles. I don't see the oomph in the ball. But again,
he did what he needed to do, though. Big play, Kirk.
Heavy dose of Bijan Robinson that Steve and I have been talking about for 2 years. They actually feed him now with a defensive-minded head coach. It makes sense, just like Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. They fed him last night. He had 100 yards at half, I believe. And then you sprinkle that in with Algier, a big back in A-gap, running downhill. They got Pitts 3 catches. I still think he's anemic or he has the plague or something. They do not like Pitts there. And then Drake London being the real only deep threat. And then you have Mooney who catches that touchdown. I don't know if they have enough outside threats. Their O-line is really good, though. I think they stymied the Eagles' front. And Jeff doesn't think the Eagles' front's very good, losing Fletcher Cox and a couple other pieces there, especially with Reddick going over and nowhere right now. Where you at last night's game? What about that one?
I think the league's caught up to Jalen Hurts in that system.
Yeah.
Every play is like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and get to 10 Mississippi running around.
Run.
And look, he averaged 6 yards per throwing attempt.
Yep.
That's not good. And even though Kirk Cousins is about 80% of himself, he averaged about 8, and you saw the difference. When they needed one drive, he could hit intermediate to deep shots into the teeth of the defense. And the throws were basically on time.
Yeah.
And look, as long as Bijan and Algieri are fed, you could run off the play action because Kirk Cousins has those capabilities. And you can keep Kirk Cousins to around 30 throws a game. And Mooney's going to be a pretty effective player. Drake London's a big-bodied receiver. He'll do a lot of the intermediate tough stuff. But I said this before, and I was taught this about 2-3 years ago from Hurricane Vision. Lance Roffers, guy really knows how to break down football. He said to me and some other people, in the National Football League, you get a schematic advantage if you come up with something new for about a season and a half, which means over 16 to 27, 28 games, you'll be a step ahead of somebody if you come up with the new concept. Look at what has happened to Jalen Hurts since the Super Bowl year, and then last year they were 10-1. Right now, Jalen Hurts looks like a guy, it's a lot of scramble ball. It's not on time. And I look at that offense, and look, they should have won the game. They had all Saquon Barkley has to do is catch the ball. They win the game.
Game's over.
But with that said, I'm looking at this offense, and A.J. Brown was gone. So that's another factor. We got to be fair about that. But when I look at Jalen Hurts, it's a lot of stuff where you're like improvising, elongating plays. And I'm thinking, okay, it looks to me like people are kind of defending this pretty well. One last thing I want to say, guys. Caleb Williams. What did we try to tell you, folks? I'm sick of people thinking it's only game 2. Hold on. People have been telling you that Caleb Williams' problem were going to subsist immediately in the National Football League. Some of those plays he made on Sunday were absolutely embarrassing.
I mean,
really?
It's a joke. I'm just going to be honest. I so far, I've been right on that one as well. I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry. I've been saying it. Stick to it.
Stupid people are on Twitter. Caleb Williams takes a sack, and I wrote, well, he held the ball too long. So the next drive, C.J. Stroud takes a sack, and well, by your logic, did C.J. Stroud hold the ball too long? And I'm thinking to myself, well, one guy didn't double hitch and wait on a 3-step drop on 3rd and 1. The other guy got sacked on a 3rd and 8 on a 5 or 7-step drop.
Context matters.
They don't know, They don't know.
Knowledge matters.
Common sense matters.
They don't understand it.
If you think C.J. Stroud holds the ball too long,
not at
all. A lot, you don't know football. Because I asked the guy, well, let me ask you this. Do you think C.J. Stroud consistently holds the ball too long the way Caleb Williams did? No. This genius never answered me. Because C.J. Stroud didn't even play a good game by his standard. No. But then again in life, Confucius said, the standards that you put on somebody is what you think of them. And when you're 23 for 36 for 260 and Tank Dell dropped the 70-yard touchdown catch and run, I would have given him a C+, because that's how much I think of him. I think he's a special generational talent. When I look at Caleb Williams, I get it, it's only game 2. I'm thinking to myself, I don't see it getting better. I really don't, because his style of play, I don't know if you can get that out of him. And I give the Panthers credit for one thing. I think they know what they have in Bryce Young. Bryce Young, coach, had 26 passing attempts, 86 yards, I think. That has to be a record.
I'm just telling you, that's the product of what we're doing, though. That's a dink and dunk system across the world. And listen, this is why I told people, stop talking about and blaming wide receivers. We keep giving the quarterbacks passes. And when everyone we talked about the additions the Chicago Bears made on offense with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and they went and got better up front.
Dunze, right?
Oh, Dunze. I said on this show, it doesn't matter.
Coach, I love when they said, well, they got to take the reins off Caleb. I'm like, no. You've got to put the reins on him and let him know in the National Football League, you get 1, 2, 3, drop out. You get about 2.25 to 2.6 seconds to get the ball out consistently. That is how you succeed in the National Football League. Playing scramble ball does not work. And before I get out of here, I want to say one thing. It's really interesting and funny, not in a ha-ha way, that all of a sudden people are saying something that someone here has said for 3 years. Boy, quarterback plays kind of bad. No, really. I know a guy that's been saying that for a long time. Anyway.
Can you tell Jason Whitlock? Can you tell Jason Whitlock? But what?
Well, he's on board now.
I know. So it's Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk Herbstreit texted me too and said, "Damn, I thought you were full of shit 3 years ago. You're fucking spot on."
One day you'll know as much football as Mina Kimes, but coach, what does she know? I'm kidding. All right, guys, I gotta get.
That's Asian slander.
Hey, stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. All right. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you Thursday.
All right, have a good one.
Later. Always, Steve Kim.
You're amazing, Steve Kim, the Oracle, Steve Kim.
Hey, Smitty, this goes back to, I think last year you and I talked, and I said, listen, last year the Eagles, when they were 10-1, they had the easiest schedule in football at that time. Even though it's the NFL, I still will never believe into an easy schedule in the NFL. I've said it before. I'm not going to be a hypocrite now. They were 10-1, but then they hit that gauntlet down the stretch. And I said on the show, I said, man, I'm telling you, since the Super Bowl, remember I kept saying, and nobody understood what I meant. What did I keep saying, if you remember? When I said sophomore slump, and everybody was like, well, you were saying Jalen Hurts' third year. What do you mean sophomore slump?
But you meant like Jalen Hurts' second year as like the legit full-time, like the guy for the Eagles.
And when there's a book out on you, guess what happens? And the book is out now. Now every DC has the book. It's been spread around. And you see, what do? They run a half dome, if you've ever watched. They run a pin me in the pocket, make him escape the pocket. If he hits us with a 20-yard run, a 15-yard run here and there, we'll live with it. I don't want A.J. Brown to get loose and Devontae Smith to get loose, and I don't want to get Goddard the ball, and we'll let him hit us a couple times with his feet, which you saw last night.
Yeah.
He led the team in rushing.
85 yards, I think.
Not a good thing. I'm just telling you, it's not a good thing at this level. And we keep breaking down all these wideouts and talking about, well, you didn't give Lamar wideouts and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep sticking to my guns. Smitty can believe what he wants. That's why I like doing this debating on this show. It doesn't matter. If your wideouts are great, you can have 10 Hall of Famers. You can't give him the fucking ball. What does it matter? Look at what Caleb Williams has around him. He has way better weapons than Justin Fields. And I believe there's a video out there. I don't know if Bailey got it in, but I think DJ Moore was talking about, don't get rid of Justin Fields.
Last year, y'all asked me that, last week? Somebody asked me that last week. I'm still like, bro, where are y'all seeing this? Like, what makes him not the quarterback for the Chicago Bears right now? I get y'all got everybody coming out. It's like two of them. I don't think they better than Justin, so they cool.
What's that eye emoji, Smitty, on the Twitter? You put the eyes out?
2 eyes.
You put the two eyes?
Listen, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at that. One way is that he's being real. Like, that's what he honestly believes. He did not believe that Caleb Williams or anybody in this draft was better than Justin Fields. Another side, you can say, well, I'm just defending my quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think DJ Moore was balling last year with Justin Fields. So
what's he doing this year?
For him, he's thinking like, shoot, I'm eating. So I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm getting the ball a lot. I'm getting my numbers. I'm doing all. It's been 2 games. He ain't did too much. You know, so.
I'm just saying, man, listen, they got a very talented group there. But
JB, let me ask you this for real, though. Like, because you always say rookie shouldn't play, rookie shouldn't start. I know you've been.
Tom Brady also said the same thing.
Right, cool, which is cool. And I know you've been on the side of saying that you didn't think Caleb was an NFL quarterback. You've been saying that. But don't you think we need to like slam the brakes a little bit? Like, it's literally been 2 weeks in the rookie season. Like, everybody's gonna come out there and be CJ Stroud and just be phenomenal.
Why? But why though?
Peyton Manning wasn't phenomenal off the bat.
Listen, hear what you're saying though. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying not everybody's gonna be CJ Stroud as a rookie. So CJ Stroud now is the bar setter? Like, come on, dog. Like, why can't Caleb Williams be? Caleb Williams was the Heisman Trophy winner.
But when we look at the history of rookie quarterbacks in their first games,
I get it, but don't say CJ
Stroud's an outlier.
Yeah, but don't say he's an outlier all of a sudden. Y'all been hyping this dude. Y'all was hyping this Caleb Williams motherfucker.
I give you that.
Y'all were hyping the fuck out of him, homie, and I was like, hell no, this motherfucker's horrible. I see tendencies. I know. First of all, there's a difference between a 6'5" long strapping cat with a quick release and understanding where to go with the football than there is with a 6'1" guy who's not and ready to run around because he sees the first read be cloudy. And I saw that in college. I've seen it my whole time. That's why I called it out before he got drafted. I said I'm not a believer. Well, what do I know? I see the same thing with Jalen Hurts.
Let me ask you this. Let's say the first 6-7 games he stays at around this level. Like, he might be a little better some games, a little worried, but he's around this level. We don't see as much improvement. But then the back half of the season, it's kind of like Jordan Love last year. He starts to figure things out and ball out. Like, that's a very possible thing as a rookie. Like, I guess the only thing I'm saying is, and listen, I was never on the bandwagon saying that Caleb Williams was going to be generational or Hall of Famer or the next Mahomes. I never thought that. But I did come on the show and say I think he will be a good quarterback. I think he's too talented to not just be at least a good quarterback. But sometimes it takes time. Guys don't always figure it out just off the bat. I'm with you in the sense that there was so much hype that you're not about to get this dude a pass because it's like you guys praise this guy like he was the next Tom Brady.
We got to be real. We got to keep it real, man. I'm just telling you, listen, you can say what you want. I'm talking about to the public. I'm talking to the public. Yeah. You can say what you want. I know this position. I've called this position for a long time. Have I been wrong here and there? Sure. But I've been more right. I've been more right than most people I hear about. Merrill Hodge and I talk all the time. There's not a lot of people that come out and say the things that they say before it happens. A lot of people wait. If you watch the mainstream media, they wait and wait and wait. Oh, we made it mistaken about Bryce Young. We might have been mistaken about Caleb Williams all of a sudden. No, well, why don't you say it before and really stick your dick out there? Say it before it actually happens like I do. I don't think anyone out there in the media says it before like I do, like Merrill Hodge used to do, like Sean Salisbury used to do. There's a difference between calling it out before and then after when it's it's already seen. Caleb Williams doesn't have it, dog. I'm just telling you. And it doesn't. This league is not a league where you can practice and be bad and get better at the quarterback position, as you're alluding to. He's not going to get better week 8, 9, 10, 11, Smitty. It's not going to happen. It's exactly the same thing that's happening with Bryce Young in Carolina. You don't get better in this league as a rookie. You get worse. And what happens with that point, you become mentally delusional and mentally wrecked. You're now Bryce Young. Mentally, he is a mental look at what's going on. He was damn near in tears on the football field the other day. This game will wreck your mentality if you're a quarterback and don't understand how to go with the football, where to go with the football. Check the ball, check it down, go chunk yard. There's a difference. Look at that shit, man. I do not see Bryce Young playing much more in this league after this because of the mental issues. that it's going to bring. I don't see Caleb Williams getting better at all. I called him a bust before the season. I'm going to stay to that. I'm just telling you, and I'm not blaming the kids, dog. I'm blaming the situations and how we're setting them up for failure, not only in high school and college, but at the NFL level. We're drafting these guys and putting them out there right away. Start Andy Dalton from Jump Street, Carolina. Let this man learn from this OG quarterback. Is he Tom Brady? No. But guess what? He knows what the fuck he's doing. And he is going to be much better off from Bryce Young to learn from than Bryce Young going out there and facing live ammunition. And contrary to belief, everyone says, well, you got to get your feet wet. Not year one on a bad roster, because it will absolutely destroy your confidence and you'll never get it back. And then, can I give a guy a heart transplant, as I've said about Derek Carr and other people? Are you going to be able to give Bryce Young a heart transplant now? Because you can clearly see he's throwing off his back foot. He's scared in the pocket. He's watching the rush. And that's what's happening with Caleb Williams right now. Rook 1, 2 weeks in. I'm looking at the rush. I'm throwing on my back foot. He's not stepping into the throws. And we're seeing that with Jalen Hurts. We're seeing that with Lamar Jackson. When your confidence is shot at that position, Smitty.
Lamar Jackson ain't lost no confidence, but
think about this though, Smitty.
Let's keep this people separate though. Keep going.
Yeah, well,
keep going.
He's still not doing shit either.
Well, don't put Lamar Jackson and Bryce Young. I'm just saying, just keep certain names. You good?
Yeah.
Keep certain names separate though.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying his name because he's horrible.
Keep it separate.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest though. The delusion's real. I'm gonna be honest. People think that this is supposed to be better and it's gonna get better and saved and all this. Smitty, I think there's a stat out there, and I don't know if Bailey has it. We'll get to our top 5 list tomorrow since we're in studio. Since we didn't get to it, we had to end the show a little early. But I think there's a stat out there, Bailey, if you have it. Quarterback touchdown throws through 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
All-time low.
I think it was at like 66 before last night's game, so it's probably
66 touchdowns.
Around 70
thrown.
now? Yeah.
66 touchdowns thrown through 2 weeks, Smitty. I mean,
it wasn't like 110 or there we go.
But what do I fucking know?
No, you're right.
Come on, man. I mean, but what do I know? I'm just telling y'all, dog. I don't understand why people don't listen, because I guess we're not big enough show or whatever. If we were on this show on ESPN, everybody'd be like, oh, JB said it. Now all of a sudden you're going to start hearing all these people come out now and talk about, damn, JB been saying this for 4 years. Actually, I've been saying it longer than that, but I actually said it coaching Indy. I said, look at what's happening to college quarterbacks, and look what's happening when they open this portal up. It's going to ruin football. I said it in 2016 to my players. Alan will tell you in the chat. This is what it is, dog. It's not getting better, Smitty. I'm sorry. Look at the numbers. It's going down. It doesn't just go back up. I'm just sorry. It doesn't go back up.
There are a few factors to go into. I mean, this is the most dual threat quarterbacks we've ever had in the history of the NFL all at once. So a lot of times quarterbacks are getting to the red zone and they're either handing the ball up or they are running the ball themselves into the end zone. So some of those touchdowns that would have been a passing touchdown are now being a running touchdown because they're running the ball. They're running the ball themselves instead of throwing it. My thing, I'm looking at the overall, just what's the end product, meaning that. Did we score on this drive? I don't care how it got done. Did we score on the drive? I don't care if it was a pass, if you ran it in like Lamar, if you threw. Did we score on the drive? And that's how I look at it.
So hold on, Smitty. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure we're gonna make sure here since we're a real show.
Yes, we are a real show.
What you just said holds no water in my opinion, because we're the most pass happy league we've been in 30 years. We attempt more passes per game than we have in 30 years in the most offensive, rule-based era ever. We are an offensive, trending rule league. We tend to treat the offense much different. So how do we throw the ball more, have less scoring than ever, and less touchdowns thrown? But now we run the ball more, according to you, in the red zone?
I'm saying quarterback. I'm saying the quarterback, dual threat. I'm saying the quarterbacks are running the ball more than we've ever seen. I'm not saying we're literally handing the ball off more. I'm saying
I know, but we're not scoring. But we're not scoring, though. Make it make sense. The points still aren't being scored. So we're kicking a field goal. But guess what? If the quarterback knew how to hit his fifth step and throw the fucking ball on time in the end zone with a wide out, wide open, guess what? We'd be scoring again. Just like we used to for all the years of great quarterback play in this league from 1970 to 2010. All of a sudden, though, now we are shitty. But guess what? We're more athletic, though. Remember? We're more athletic.
Here's my ending take on what you just said. And I said this via text. I know we're going to disagree and we got to end the show. But to me, I think we grew up in an era, or I grew up in my era, the late 90s to, I don't know, 2015, 2010, whatever that window is you want to use. I think that was a golden era of quarterback play in the NFL with the Peyton Mannings, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, like the list goes on and on. We had elite quarterbacks all across the league, and we had them for about, we had them for such a long time frame and time span that we thought that was the norm. And we got used to that, and we didn't fully appreciate that golden era of QBs to where now in today's league, we're expecting those same results that we once had. In reality, this right here, I think, is what it's like to have normal average quarterbacks in the NFL is. And this is just what it is. That era that we saw was an outlier. You're not supposed to have Peyton Mannings and Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady's and Drew Brees and Big Ben and Donovan McNabb and Dante Culpepper. Like, that was extreme high-level quarterback play. And I think if you bring up the 70s and the 60s, I challenge you to go back and compare that era and their numbers compared to the early 2000s, the era that it's night and day. It's night and day. I think we just got spoiled with elite quarterback play for about a 20-year period, and we thought that was the norm. In reality, that was the outlier. And that's my take. We can talk about that more tomorrow, but that's what I'll put together.
Yeah, I don't. You're 30 years old.
What does that mean?
That's comedy to hear.
What does that mean?
You couldn't be more wrong.
Okay, so all right, so remember that. Because you're what, 40? You're what, 46?
48.
Cool, 48. So, okay, cool.
No. Yeah.
No, I love that. So remember, anything prior to you being born, any stat you ever list that I know you weren't born or you were a baby, I'm going to use that against you every time. I'm cool with that. Let's just make sure we keep that same standard. You can't speak on anything that you were a child or you were not born yet. Since that we're going to use the age thing.
Why? That's not what you said.
Because you said I'm 30 years old, which means you're saying it to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, which you're basically saying that I'm not capable of doing research and looking things up. Which is cool.
I didn't say you don't do research. I didn't say you can't do research. I just said you just compared what you know and said it's the best ever. And I said that's ignorance to say. So you're going to tell me.
Which era was better than the era that I just threw out?
The one with Dan Marino and John Elway and Troy Aikman and Joe Montana and Steve Young and Warren Moon. And Jim Kelly and Terry Bradshaw and guys that actually stop, homie. I can't talk, but you can.
Stop.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's
you
false.
motherfuckers be killing me with that.
It's false.
By the way, there ain't no era like I just mentioned. Okay, so stop. Your era was absolutely
you tripping.
That era
you
that you talked about. So you mentioned Donovan McNabb and Culpepper.
Those are that's the bottom tier, homie. That's the bottom tier, homie. That's the point. And don't disrespect me, Max. Stop. Don't do that.
Come on, homie. I just mentioned all Hall of Famers. Every guy I just mentioned was Hall of Famers. And you're going to mention guys that aren't even going to get a gold jacket. Come on, man.
Homie.
Stop.
The greatest quarterback of all time is in my era. Peyton Manning, another top 4 guys in my era. Drew Brees, the most efficient guy of all time, is in my era. Big Ben, one Hall of Fame. What are you talking about, homie?
Here's the difference. I would respect you if you said, here's the D-line stuff, and I know somebody knows D-line. I'm going to listen to them. You got to respect me when I tell you it's not even close. It's not even close, homie. You're talking about the best eras from 2000 to 2011? What?
15, whatever that window is with the
quarterback. It's not.
99 to 2015, that era was the golden era of quarterbacks, and we took it for granted.
It's not even close.
And we took it for granted.
We'll be in studio, Smitty. We got to talk about our list again, our top 5 and top 10 list. Yeah, fucking swallowed water wrong. I hate that. I got to take Callie to the doctor right now and deal with that $500 fucking bill. And I cooked you all show. I mean, it is what it is.
It wasn't really no debate. We had guests all show.
I
ain't have a chance. We just
apologize. I apologize in advance. We got to go a little earlier. It's on me.
Ain't no apologies. I got stuff to do too.
We got to go. Shout out to everybody. We have 1,500 in there on YouTube. We got 1,500 now. Shit. Appreciate everybody. No, I didn't spell whiskey wrong. By the way, there's 2 whiskeys. Sugar the Rimples, whatever your name is. There's a Japanese
sugar on the rim, please.
There's an American and a Japanese whiskey. There's 2 ways to spell it. One with an EY, one with a Y. So go do some research and fucking come holler at me. You motherfuckers talk too goddamn much. You're embarrassing. I got something to do. Get secondhand embarrassment from some of you fucking idiots. But anyway, I mean, you guys didn't even have a Dan Fouts in your generation. Hey, man, it's real. It's been a real Smitty. It's been a great show.
We didn't get
to argue today. We didn't get to fight today. So we had to argue a little bit because we had guests on all day. Shout out to T. Rich, Dr. Jesse Morse, and Steve Kim. What do you got going, Smitty, the rest of the day? You ain't doing shit. What do you got going?
I'm about to go to my next job right now. I'm going to go to North Hollywood to produce another podcast that I get paid really good for. And I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to go to Fox to go to my 9-to-5 job to go produce Speak with Joy Taylor, Michael Irving, Paul Pierce, and Keyshawn Johnson. Then I'm going to drive home an hour in the traffic on the 405, come home to the wife, make sure she has her food before she goes to work tonight. Then I'm going to do my 4th job, which is posting and running someone else's social media account. Then I'm finally going to eat and be able to relax.
Sounds like light work.
I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you what my schedule is. I got 4 jobs. That's it.
Hey, well, let's end the show. Stick around for a second. I got something to ask you, tell you, and then I'm going to put you on suspension. Hey, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow for Work Boot Wednesday, live from the studio. We'll be there. Lucy, he's not the hardest working man, you know.
Thank you, Lucy.
I don't know him.
Have a good one, Lucy.
Like, subscribe, become a member, man. Share this thing on all your social medias as well. And shout out to Bailey running the 1s and 2s. And we'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Peace.
Issues get pressed so fast you don't get sacked like bags and baggage. Smitty and Jason Brown kill the ass around.